Can everybody see my screen? Great. All right. My name is Benji Rosensweig. Welcome to the closing ceremonies, everybody. We've had a great 3 days, and I hope you guys are as excited and enthused about what the last 3 days have been like as we were 3 days ago, as we were looking forward to this with both anxiety and excitement. So I hope you guys had a great time. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Benji Rosensweig. This is my family, Sarah, my wife, my older daughter, Nama, and my younger daughter, Ella, who has CSS. She has the ARID 1A variant in a mosaic pattern. And hopefully, if you didn't know what all that meant before Dr. Vergano's lecture, you know what that means now. We live in Detroit, and we are absolutely thrilled to been able to participate in this event. A little bit of overlap between the closing and the opening ceremonies, but I think it's important to just point out the people who put this together and worked hard to make sure that this happens. So our current board of directors includes Shay Robinson, who is our chair of the board, Alyssa Cho, who's our treasurer, Ryan Cook, who does all things legal, me, I think I'm just here for the laughs, Shauna Plank, and Kelly Abbott, who are also new board members who help with all the coordinating and making sure that things are done right and properly. And so if I know that the mics aren't on, but if we want to just take a moment and give them a round of applause in your homes together and say thank you for the support and the work that was put into this. Also want to acknowledge 3 board members who were founding board members of this foundation when we started, was it 4 years ago now, after the Seattle conference, and that is Brian Johansson, Maria Rojas, and Yari Contreras. And those 3 board members put blood, sweat, and tears into making sure the foundation got off the ground and have contributed and continue to contribute as much as they can, where they can, and how they can. And we appreciate them tremendously for what they've done. I think that we would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the people that revolve around the board. First off, our self-advocate advisory board. Eddie Gubens was a panelist yesterday for the young adult panel. He and Katie are self-advocates, and I am proud of the work that we've done to make sure that this is an inclusive opportunity for them. And I'm going to give Carissa, who's our SAAB liaison, really the props for making sure that this happens regularly and smoothly. But I hope, Eddie, you're on here and you know how proud we are of you and the work that you put into this, and know that, the work that you're doing as part of the CSS Foundation is really what many of us parents with young kids can only hope and dream that our kids are able to do at some point in the future. So thank you for being so involved. And thank you for being so engaged in our community, and we love you and we appreciate you. And I'm going to stop there. Dr. Vergano is a rock star. Dr. Vergano is the person who kind of helps keep us sane when we feel like no doctors know what they're talking about. Dr. Vergano goes above and beyond for our community on a regular basis. We asked her if she would give us an hour on a Saturday for this conference. And then we said, okay, well, how about an hour on Saturday and an hour on Sunday? And between the 2 sessions, she was on for about 2.5 hours each. So she's given us 5 hours of her weekend, and she really, again, is above and beyond. Part of what makes that possible and her knowing how to answer our questions is the registry. And you've heard us talk about this registry a couple of times. This registry is extremely important. The registry is what gives Dr. Vergano the information about our kids to be able to do research on. So if you have not yet met with Dr. Vergano and signed up for the registry, please reach out to us if you need her contact information. We'll get you her contact information. But it's extremely important for our community to give Dr. V as much information as possible so that she can help us as much as she can. The additional advisors, I mentioned Carissa. My wife, Sarah Rosensweig, is part of the conference advisory board, making sure that we remember all the different aspects and details that need to be done. And I would tell you that without her help, I wouldn't be able to be as effective in doing this. And Katie Kinsell, I almost butchered your last name, forgive me for that, but Katie, after the last conference in Iowa, stepped up and said, hey, I want to participate, I want to be involved, let me know what I can do to help. And we said, we need help with new diagnosis kits. And she said, great, I got it. And she has owned it to the point where I don't even think about it anymore. I just assume that it's done, and it always is. And that is absolutely spectacular. So Katie, thank you for the work that you do, and not only getting it done, but getting it done easy so that the rest of us really have minimal to think about and work on. So we appreciate you immensely. And last but not least in the thank yous is the conference planning committees. These are the people who spend Sunday afternoons making sure that the little details and the big details are covered. Janice and Eddie Gubin were on point from the beginning, and they came pretty much every week, of course, except for the week that we decided to take the screenshot where Janice made sure to put Eddie in there. Shauna has been absolutely instrumental in making sure that all of our words are done properly. I forgot that on the board, her position is PR, but for the conference, she made sure that all of our information was put out there properly and eloquently, because if you left it up to me, everything would be spelled wrong and you'd have trouble reading it. Alyssa, keep in charge of the dollars and cents and making sure that we don't run over budget and that we do things properly. Ryan Cook was making sure that he watched our backs and made sure that we didn't make any mistakes that weren't good ones. Crystal was our liaison between all of our speakers and moderators, and really did an incredible job of owning all our data and information and making sure that everything that we planned got coordinated properly. Kelly, you guys, every single person here who got a swag bag, it's because of Kelly. Kelly went above and beyond and made sure that the swag that we got, the shirts, the tumblers, the bears, the bracelets, the cookies, everything that you got was picked out by her with love and made sure that it was done properly. And she really went above and beyond, to the point where we were going to pay a company to put all the packages together and mail them out. And Kelly said, well, that's just silly, I don't want to pay for that. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it ourselves. And that way we can afford to put a few more things in the swag bag. And so she and her crew got together and they spent a week putting all those packages and getting them out to everybody on time. So Kelly just did an absolutely amazing job. And then Shay and Carissa, they were there every step of the way, making sure that, again, things were done properly, things were well thought out, people were thought about, and the best and absolute highest level of conference that we could deliver was delivered. And that's due to Shay and Carissa's both input, leadership, and thoughtfulness. So let's do another round of applause for the conference planning committee. This is probably my favorite slide. So there were 17 conference sessions. That's a big deal. That's a lot of hours of planning, a lot of hours of making sure that moderators are there and on time and know what they're doing, and there's hosts. And so 17 sessions is a big number, and I believe it's bigger than any number that we've had in any of our individual individual sessions. When we made this slide for the opening ceremonies. There were 170 families. And by the time the conference started, we had 185. And again, massive number, huge growth over Iowa, where we had 125 families registered. And I think the most important thing is we had 136 first-time families. If this is your first conference, thank you for coming. Thank you for trusting us, and we hope that we provided both value and connections and information and community and all the little details that we were hoping that you would receive. We hope that you got them. A lot of that was made possible by a number of very generous families. In the registration process, there was the opportunity to provide a scholarship for other families who needed it. And so we had 23 scholarships that were donated by families to make sure that nobody was left out of the conference because of finances. There were a few more scholarships donated than there were scholarships used, and we're going to take that money and parlay it to next year and make sure that there's opportunity scholarship fund for next year, so that as families need help coming to the conference, no family is left behind, and we can make sure that our community is there for one another. 22 countries represented. Again, in those last couple of hours before the conference, it actually jumped from 17 countries in the slide that Shay showed on Friday to 22 countries. And that's just absolutely spectacular. And that's an amazing thing. Could only really be done by this virtual setting. And so as tough as this year was and not having a conference in person, there's a lot of people here today that we know we wouldn't be seeing you in person. We wouldn't be seeing your faces if it wasn't for this technology and this format. And one more just beautiful metric, 185 families translates into 453 individuals. That's a lot of people. And it's really great to see, Zoom screens that have multiple people, moms, dads, and kids and siblings and all those. So it's really great, and we are glad that you're here, and glad that you're able to participate. We are happy that you're here. We talked about how to get involved. We've mentioned it at the beginning of each session. There's a lot of ways to get involved. It could be as simple as donating to the foundation. The money that is donated goes to a couple of things. Number one, research. Number two, hosting this conference. Number three, welcome packets and the medical kits, as well as, when somebody's in the hospital, we try to send food. This is a big one for us. We try to send a meal to anytime we find out that somebody's in the hospital, but we miss a lot of people just because we don't know. And so if you know that somebody in the CSS community is sick, send us a message. Let us know. We'd love to help out, whether it's a Grubhub gift card or a physical meal from a restaurant in the area that we can send it to. We want to help you, and that all comes from donations. Kelly, who put together all the swag, has put together an online store. The Coffin-Siris shirts, as well as the True Grit shirts. Those are all available for sale. Last I checked, a couple days before the conference, we had sold over $5,000 worth of merch. And so if you want a hoodie or a shirt or a long sleeve shirt, that's the place to get it. You can request stickers, connect with us, show care on the CSS Facebook groups. There's a lot of ways to get involved. The volunteer opportunities, we wrote this slide without really knowing what people wanted. And what we found is, through the presentations and through the conversations in the lobby room, there's a lot of people who want different things, and we can do any of it. It just involves you reaching out and saying, this is what I'm looking for, and then getting involved. So there's a conversation about monthly moms and dads meetups on Zoom. There's conversations about regional family events. All of that can be done. Tell us that you want it, and be willing to volunteer, to participate, and make sure that it happens properly. There's been a conversation about some of the medical sessions that were requested for this conference that didn't happen. for example, regarding eye issues and disorders of the corpus callosum, we can do monthly Zoom events for the CSS community. We just need people to help out, plan, and participate. And so really anywhere that you want to be involved, you can be involved. Unlike normal, or should I say typical, unlike typical conference years where we all have a lot of great pictures, most of the pictures here are screenshots, and that's okay. There have been some great sessions. If you're out and about town wearing your CSS shirts, or you want to represent the CSS community, post it. Use the hashtag MyCSSfam. And this is a way for us to connect and get to know each other. This is actually a picture that I posted on Saturday morning. I was working. My daughter was was at a social distant bat mitzvah outside, and I had the iPad up where I was in the lobby room, and I was working on some CSS stuff, and I was doing like quadruple duty, and it was a little bit absurd. But these are the fun and funny moments that where we get to know each other real well. So connect with each other online, on Facebook and Instagram, and whatnot. Who's ready to talk about the winner of the Moms and Dads event? There's been a lot of contentious arguments in the lobby room, as well as in some private conversations about who won. So here's the deal. The moms had 76 participants. So they win for the most participants. The dads only had 26 participants, but the moms' winning score was 70, and the dads had 5 teams, 4 of which scored over 70 points. So for total points, the moms would win, but for average points per team, the dads destroyed. I think the answer to who the winner is we are the winners. Anybody who participated is a winner because we did really well. Shay doesn't like that answer. We all know that the dads won, but don't tell Carissa. I think the answer is the fact that we had a good time is the answer. Before we move on to the next slide, I'd like to talk a little bit about grit, and I'm actually going to go back to where's the slide? I don't know. I lost it. Oh, it's coming up here. So this is the shirt. These are the shirts and hoodies that I was referring to. You can go to our online shop. It'll be open until May 16th. The conference theme this year was grit. And we've had some really amazing stories shared about grit. And I think that Carter Johansson, if you guys watched the video that we produced, Carter Johansson said it perfectly when they said, "What is grit?" And Carter said, "I don't know what it is, but I got it." And I loved it when you said it. It makes me smile every time I hear it. I don't know that I can define grit any better than a dictionary can, but in watching the video, in being a part of these sessions and hearing the stories in the lobby and in the question and answer period, there's been some really spectacular things shared. And I'd like to share a handful of them. We heard from a dad who had to quarantine with his daughter in her room for 10 days. And it was difficult and it was hard. And mom needed to make sure that everybody was fed and clothed and the rest of the house didn't fall apart. And I'd say that each one of them had grit because none of them had it easy there. Their CSS daughter didn't want to be cooped up with her dad. Dad didn't want to be cooped up with the daughter, and mom didn't want to be having the two of them cooped up. So, that's grit right there. Eddie stepped up. I talked about Eddie a bunch already, but Eddie stepped up and he worked his tail off to make sure that, he participated in numerous parts of this conference. And he did it because we asked him to, and because he was ready, willing, and able to. We heard a number of stories about moms who were just struggling. Their hearts are breaking while they're quarantining and making sure that their kids are safe. And, they're watching their friends who don't have medically fragile kids play outside and do things together. And it takes an incredible amount of grit to be able to keep everybody sane and healthy, and also manage to keep your sane and healthy. So moms out there, we appreciate you and we recognize the grit that it takes to do that. I know that many of you, like us, have had medical appointments, and you're used to mom and dad or both parents showing up for medical appointments. We had a situation where the hospital said only one parent. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And, those stories were shared here. And I think that I was walking by Sarah as a mom was sharing about that subject. And another mom said, I haven't felt this recognized and heard in a long time because I felt like I was going crazy. And so I just want to recognize the grit that it took to get through that. One thing that I wasn't planning on noticing or sharing or acknowledging until I heard it mentioned a number of times is the number of adoptive parents, foster parents, and step parents that we have in our community. And the stories that you shared over the last 3 days with us are touching, and we appreciate you. And we know that that is hard work and that you chose it. And again, we appreciate you. We appreciate the grit, and thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. Lastly, here's a QR code. If you know how to use it, use it. We want your feedback. We'd like you to tell us what you thought. We'd like you to tell us what we can do better, and how we can grow and change. And yeah, we love you guys, and we want this conference to be the first of many that you attended, or the second of many that you attend, and we want you guys to be engaged. So anything that we can do to help this community, we're going to do. We're going to try our best. And so please fill out that survey and tell us what we can do for you. We've talked about next year, when we are in person, how we're going to integrate the digital online aspects so that people in other countries or people in the United States who can't make it in person can still participate. And so I don't know what that looks like yet, but we're working on it and we're going to figure it out. That's it for the closing ceremonies. I'm going to leave that slide up for a minute so that you can grab that. That slide or that QR code. I'm going to tell you that once this room shuts down, please head over to the lobby. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to interact. We'd love to hear from you. It's a great place to just, develop relationships, build relationships. If two people want to talk, we can set up a breakout room if somebody wants to have a private conversation. But, just because it is 6:30 Eastern, doesn't mean that we have to stop. So, with that, if anybody wants to unmute, the room's open.
Thank you.
You are very welcome, Alyssa. Thank you.
Izzy, can you say bye?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Bye-bye. No?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say thanks. Say it. Say it. Okay.
One more time.
Thank you.
Say thanks.
Really say thank you.
Yeah.
Loud.
Thanks.
Charlie, could you say bye?
Bye.
Bye-bye, little man.
Bye, Charlie.
Thanks. See you in person next year.
Bye.
Okay. Can't wait to see you guys in person.
Thank you very much. Wave, Nora.
Thank you.
Do it again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Say thank you. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you, boy.
Oh, there, look.
Here we go. Look, Serena, here it goes. Say thank you. Say thank you. Bye-bye. Look, kiss.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Look, kiss
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
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 I just realized you were saying blow a kiss. I thought you said focus, and I was like, if only we could get them to focus. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Like,
Say
focus.
bye-bye.
Say goodbye. Focus.
Say bye-bye.
Bye. Have fun.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a great
Good
night.
night. Night.
Okay. Good night.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye. Hey, Ella, what do you want for dinner?
What do you want for dinner? Pizza.
That's how she sings. When she wants pizza, she goes, pizza, pizza, pizza.
Thank you so much, committee. This was great.
Thank you,
I
Kathy.
appreciate you all. Have
Thank
a
you,
good
Kathy.
one. You're welcome.
We had a good time. Thank you for making it possible for everybody to get there.
Thank you, Rhonda.
I love seeing everybody. Say goodbye, Maya. I have to do it very gently because she's in the bathtub.
Bye,
Say-
Maya.
Say thank you. Say thank you. No, you're just gonna wave? Okay. She was like, Mom, I'm in the bathtub.
I'd be saying the same thing. So,
Thank you and see you next year.
we're looking forward to it.
Bye, everyone.
Can't wait.